UFL Primetime returns to upstate New York and to the Virtual Football Network, where tonight, by popular demand, we bring you a matchup that will awaken the football purist in your soul as the Tennessee Ramblers take on the Rochester Pioneers. Good Wednesday evening to you. Josh Thurkel alongside Eric Vincent up here in the booth. Cameron Irvine will join us a bit later. But Eric, a big Eastern Conference matchup tonight. Rochester clinging to a one-game lead in the Metro Division, but meanwhile, Tennessee fighting tonight for their playoff lives.
And Josh, game night gave us the juice tonight, okay? They gave us extra meaning in this game. Rochester trying to keep ahead of New York. They will technically have a tiebreaker lead over the Lightning if they should happen to lose tonight. But Tennessee, on the other hand, with Motor City's upset over St. Louis, they got to win tonight in order to keep pace in the playoff picture.
Two division leaders going down tonight. Will it be three, as Rochester will begin with the football to start the festivities here on UFL Primetime? So glad to have you with us. Matt Wilson, the living legend, under center for the Pioneers. He will throw on first down. Under pressure, he's going to tuck it and go to the 25 and down to the 27-yard line. Matt Wilson, who had a very strong start, along with his Rochester teammates, started 4-0, but they've slipped a little bit of late, Eric.
They have been. They've got some great offensive weapons. We talked about Matt Wilson, Casey Mears, 1,200 yards plus coming into tonight. Dijon Swan and Justin Reside, the receivers. Evan Wood at tight end. And look out for big left tackle, number 88, Tom Vinson, one-year man at Houston.
One step Rochester. They're on 2nd and 5. They will run it up the middle. And that will be third and manageable. Let's take a look at this Tennessee Ramblers defense. No juniors in this set. How about Joey Duncan the second?
Exactly. Joey Duncan the second, listed at cornerback number 2, but he is one of the defensive weapons in the backfield for the Ramblers. Obviously, you got Dexter Jackson manning the middle of that field at the middle linebacker spot. And how about Mike Rodick, defensive tackle? A lot of guys that are manning the middle of that defense at varying levels.
Now big 3rd and 4, Matt Wilson in the shotgun here. And they will run the draw, and they will get stuffed in their faces. That's Keyshawn Lynch blowing up the play, and Tennessee gets off the field with a 3-and-out.
And Everidge came in. Ronnie Everidge checks in as the 3rd down back, and he'll sometimes come in and put together some good runs. Not to be on this one. Great penetration by the Ramblers defense, and they put an end to the Rochester drive early on.
Rochester with a 4-0 start, as we said earlier, but has lost 4 of their last 6. And squeaked out a win against Vegas last week. Tennessee, meanwhile, almost the polar opposite. Started 1-5 and went on to win 5 of their next 7. And they will start here with the football at the 23-yard line. And here comes the debut of Malik Kane under center. Kane signed just hours ago. Will hand it off here on first down. And that's positive yardage for the Ramblers.
Yeah, Malik Kane, he's going to be the new quarterback. He'll obviously be the focal point here tonight. But we got Stephon Hurdle III in the backfield, along with Action Jackson and Max Capone, the wide receiver threats for this Ramblers offense. Plenty to look out for if you're the Rochester Pioneers on defense.
Now Kane in the shotgun on 2nd and medium. And they will go to the draw as well, and that is to the right side. Positive yardage for Stephon Hurdle III. And Mr. Hurdle will move the chains the first time for either team this evening. Gain of 13.
And he came in just shy of 300 yards rushing. Whole bunch of different guys in the backfield here for the Ramblers over the course of the season. Hurdle now the main guy back there, and 5'10", 182. He's a very shifty guy, as you saw right there, just leaving the defensive backfield in the dust, getting that first down.
Tremendous cut by the 3rd-year player out of Auburn. And now Kane will go 5 wide here as they approach the 40-yard line here on 1st and 10. Short drop and a quick throw, and that is complete to Papas Fields, the number 3 wide receiver in this offense. Let's take a look at this Rochester Pioneers defense. What can you tell us about this handsome group of fellas?
And it's going to be in the defensive backfield, 2nd and 3rd level of the defense. E.K. Vinson in the left outside linebacker spot, along with Joe Allen, one of the best corners in the league, sitting at CB1. Hans Ayumi at free safety. He is a 6-year man out of Utah. He is a threat back there as well. You do not want to throw his way.
Certainly Malik Kane took notice of Mr. Tayumi. And now up the middle with the fullback set, and this will be the first third down of the evening for the Ramblers.
And we'll see how Tennessee responds here. Hostile environment up north on the road, 3rd and 5 here in their own territory.
Kane will throw over the middle, flag on the play. That is caught. And Action Jackson will be brought down in plus territory. Let's see what the laundry's all about. That's going to be a hold, and that is coming back, Eric.
Yeah, and that's a killer right there. Adam Goodwin, the right guard. 10-yard penalty. He'll back him up. Now a 3rd and forever.
3rd and 15. 5 DBs on the field for Rochester. Kane with time. Big throw over the middle. That is knocked down. Rochester was on that play, and Tennessee will have their first punt of the evening.
Yeah, we talked about Han Tayumi, but Champ Brown, the strong safety, he comes in looking good in that defensive backfield as well. He's had 2 sacks. He's had a couple picks. He's had 5 pass breakups as well over the course of the season. He is a strong candidate for defensive MVP in this league.
Tennessee, we mentioned, won 5 of their last 7. They've knocked off some big teams over the course of the season. They handed Cincinnati their first loss. They have a win against Dallas. They won against Chicago and hosting Wichita at home. And now Rochester will take over on offense at the 23-yard line.
So need for Matt Wilson to come back out here and see if he can get a better drive going. Obviously, that first drive sputtered off a couple failed run attempts, and now they're backed up in their own territory to start things off.
That's 23. Wilson will hand off. And that is off the right tackle. That's a gain of 4 yards. 2nd and 6.
That's Ronnie Everidge getting in there, getting his 2nd carry of the game, gets back into positive yardage here.
Wilson back in the shotgun. Trips to his right. Short drop over the middle. That is knocked away, nearly intercepted. A dangerous throw. And you got to think Matt Wilson got away with one there.
Yeah, especially because Tennessee came out in man coverage, and you look towards the top of the formation in the trips. Najee Anderson ran a little in and out route, and he was wide open along the far sideline.
3rd and 6. Wilson will stay in the shotgun, throw it to the right side. That is caught, and that will be the first down of the game for the Pioneers. Justin Rezai signals the moving of the chains.
And that's just a good throw right there. Wilson just sets his feet, fires. Little curl route there for Justin Rezai. Able to get the catch there. He's coming into the game with 36 catches. That is 37th, almost 500 yards on the year.
Very impressive catching with those gigantic elbow pads. You know, we talk about the hands of the receivers all the time. Never discussing the elbows, though. That is taking care of all the parts. Wilson handing off up the middle. That is Casey Mears. Not much to write home about there on that carry. 2nd and 10.
Both these running backs so far for Rochester, not a whole lot of room to operate. 2nd and long now.
Nickel set for Tennessee. Wilson will stay in the shotgun. Mears again up the middle with room to the 50 and just down at the 49. Easily the longest run of the night for Casey Mears.
Josh, we talked about this before we got on the air, where this was kind of what we circled here. The rushing attack of Rochester against the rushing defense of Tennessee. Rochester's 2nd best in the league as far as rushing yards per game is concerned. Tennessee allows, looks like the 6th or 7th most in the league, so bottom of the barrel in rushing defense.
Mears again up the middle with an outstanding run on 1st down, a gain of 8. And this Rochester offense starting to get a little steam, Eric.
Starting to get a little momentum in plus territory here. Tennessee might be sending the blitz to the outside, though. Something to watch out for.
Mears again around the left side. That's going to be good for another 1st down for Mears. 22 yards so far in this very early 1st quarter.
Yeah, and I talked about Casey Mears, 1,200 plus yards coming into tonight. She is definitely a threat, and Rochester loves to run the football through her.
Fullback in play. Mears again. Mears breaking a tackle almost. getting inside the 35. A little shoulder action there from the halfback, Casey Mears.
And this is what Rochester likes to do. They like to run. They run first offense. They don't score a ton of points because of that, but they will chew up a ton of clock running the football.
Mears will get a rest. This is Ronnie Everidge around the left side, and Everidge coming through with the first down, the fourth of the drive for these Rochester Pioneers.
And, you know, Everidge is a good back as well, coming in with almost 400 yards into tonight's game, so he's a good spell running back for Casey Mears.
Play action to Mears this time. Wilson's going to tuck it and go. The ball's out. Who's got it? And it's going to be Casey Mears that recovers it and manages to make it only a 2-yard loss and not the loss of the football.
Man, and we've seen that from time to time from Matt Wilson. He sometimes makes these bad decisions when he tucks it and runs. That was not a great decision. Wanting to go up the middle where all those bodies are, and he loses the football. Thankfully, Casey Mears able to pick that one back up.
Missed the hole completely, too. How fortunate for Rochester to maintain possession here on their second drive of the game. Time winding down in the first quarter. Mears again breaking a tackle, but cannot break the second as the defender was waiting there on the edge. And that is number 50, Connor West, shutting down the offense, and now a big third down.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key for Rochester, is to go ahead and get those blocks, seal the outside, give Casey Mears some room to operate, because she can avoid initial contact there, but it's usually the second or third defender there that is going to wrap her up, and if she doesn't have room to make herself downfield, Rochester's going to be in a heap of hurt tonight.
Pioneers defense standing by, knowing they may be back out on the field shortly. 3rd and 13. Wilson in the shotgun, Everidge in the game. And Wilson's going to take a shot on the corner blitz. Rodney Walker saying, "Hello, sir."
Yeah, Rodney Walker coming in absolutely scot-free, and Wilson doesn't see him until he's ready to take off, and he gets the business end out of that one. No one even touches Walker there, and Wilson's eyes go brighter than the moon, basically, once Walker is there in his lap.
Right in his face, in his lap, over his entire body. And now they're going to punt. What do you think of this, Eric? Punting from their own 40-yard, or the opposing 40-yard line.
I mean, not really a whole lot of opportunity to really go for a field goal. It's no man's land. It's not a great situation on 4th and longs to try and go for it. So, yeah, I don't necessarily blame them for putting the football there.
That'll be a net of 20 yards after the touchback. And now Malik Kane on his second drive of the game will re-enter with 1:19 to play in the first quarter with a fullback in tow, handing off. And that is Santaris Sherman, the backup halfback, getting a gain of 3 yards, 2nd and 7.
And, you know, Josh, we talked about Malik Kane coming in here and got flown right out to Rochester. They've been keeping him in the loop for weeks, according to team sources. And we'll get to that after this play.
Hand off again to the right side. And that is Stephon Hurdle back in. Not sure why he wasn't there in the first play, but back in the game now. And a big third down, Eric.
But previous quarterback George Snyder, he was playing well in his 7-game stretch there. Apparently got a little peeved. He didn't have his favorite M&M color on the flight. So Tennessee said, all right, pack it up. We're bringing in Malik Kane, and here he is.
Kane over the middle. That is complete, and a first down for the Ramblers. Papa's Fields out of South Carolina moving the chains when his second catch of the game.
Yeah, a great job of working the middle of the field there. Split the zone that Rochester was running on that play. And a great job there, moves it closer to midfield.
And it's interesting you mentioned how Malik Kane was in the loop, because he looks like a guy who knows what he's doing as we get through quarter number 1. Still scoreless here on Upstate New York. You're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Josh Circle. He's Eric Vincent. Cameron Irvine around here someplace. Malik Kane signed just hours ago, handing off to Stephon Hurdle, and Hurdle will get to midfield on his 4th carry of the game, 2nd down.
Yeah, and good job by the Pioneers defense getting out there. DeAdrian Palmer, the right edge, able to bounce outside. E.K. Vincent cleaning it up there, 2nd and 4.
Bunch set to Kane's right. Handing off again. Up the middle, it's Hurdle. Hurdle has a first down, and Tennessee, who has not had a winning record all season, trying to stomp into upstate New York and knock off the division-leading Rochester Pioneers. Kane will stay in the shotgun here on first down. Handoff again to the left side. It's Hurdle. And Hurdle, again, with a nice gain on first down, Eric.
Yeah, and good closing speed on that one by Joe Allen. I mentioned him, one of the best corners in the game, and that's specifically why he can go ahead and play the pass and the run easily.
And now 5 on the line for the Pioneers. Kane under center. Fake the jet sweep. They go back to Hurdle, and Hurdle will get stopped. An outstanding play by Carlos Watson, and now a third down upcoming.
Yeah, Watson just fills the hole there. Absolutely nowhere for the back to go. And forcing a third down here for Tennessee. Both these teams having productive second drives here, but finding themselves in a little bit of no man's land. We'll see if Tennessee can convert on their third down.
On the cusp of field goal range, Malik Kane goes into the shotgun on 3rd and 5, 4 wide set. Here comes the blitz. Kane throws to his left. That is caught, and that is going to be close. That's Papa Fields again, his second catch of the game. And they're going to say 4th and inches.
Yeah, and I think that's a good spot. Taimi able to wrap him up right around the line to gain. And it doesn't look like the receiver's able to stretch it out past the first down marker. That was a bit of an awkward spot. This one, a bit of an awkward spot as well. But just at first glance, it was looking like it was maybe 4th and short.
It looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and inches. Still has that new quarterback smell. Malik Kane up the middle. That is converted for the first down. Santara Sherman getting it done, and Tennessee moves their chains again. Outstanding 4th down conversion.
Yeah, good aggressive decision there, Josh, to go ahead and go for it there. Rochester having all sorts of trouble with Tennessee's rushing attack so far.
And now inside the 30-yard line. Kane will hand off again. Sharon Moore will get just a couple. And here's a stat from Cameron Irvine. Tennessee now 4 out of 7 on 4th downs this season. They have no trouble going for it when the situation dictates.
And hey, when it's a coin flip, Josh, go ahead and go for it.
2nd down, that is blown up. Stephon Hurdle nowhere to go. And that is Matt Taylor strutting around on the field like he did something, because he did. 3rd down.
Matt Taylor getting in there. Actually, I think it was the middle linebacker, Schlumbaum, who had himself a heck of a game last time we were in Vegas, getting that fumble return for the pick 6 for the touchdown.
My apologies to Mr. Schlumbaum. Big 3rd down here. Kane will go play action. Has time. Trying to scramble. Can he find a lane? No. Flag on the play. He's going to be stopped for a loss. And they're going to decline that anyway due to the holding penalty. And that will bring out the field goal unit. 47 yards on the right hash for Brody Speak. And you can speak to his prowess on that kick as Tennessee takes the first lead of the game for either team, 3-0.
Yeah, and good decision there to go ahead and go for the 3 points. Obviously, at any opportunity that you get to take points on the road, obviously you go for that. We got our first 2 bingo numbers off the board.
Both of these teams, not a lot of common opponents as you look at their bodies of work over the course of the season. Both of them lost to Houston, who you saw go down in UFL game night earlier tonight. Rochester did beat Charlotte in week 1. That was a team that Tennessee lost to a couple months ago in April. And Tennessee, Eric, has been one of those teams that can just jump up and snap at you at any given moment.
Yeah, and given how we've seen game night go tonight, Rochester might be in a world of hurt here if Tennessee is able to replicate what we've seen from these other teams, kind of nipping at the heels of these division leaders.
Division leader St. Louis went down to Motor City earlier tonight, 34-24. Jack Brown led a Motor City offense that amassed 460 yards, but did not get stopped in the first 45-plus minutes of the game, as Rochester and Wilson complete a pass over the middle, 2nd and 1. Also, Denver knocked off the aforementioned Houston Herd, but they needed a blocked field goal and an interception in the fourth quarter to do it. A bad night for division leaders so far. Matt Wilson on 2nd and 1. That is caught, and that will be a first down for the Pioneers as the boys in red move the chains.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to kind of focus on here if you're the Rochester Pioneers, is go ahead and put the ball in Matt Wilson's hands. We've seen what Casey Mears can do. Obviously, she has some wheels with 1,200 plus rushing yards, but Wilson's going to have to throw the football to keep things occupied here.
And the ball's out, and again, Casey Mears coming up with a clutch fumble recovery. But that's Keyshawn Lynch, who's having a monster game so far for Tennessee.
And, you know, just when I was saying go ahead and put the ball in Matt Wilson's hands, I mean, he's having a hard time locating when these blitzers are coming. That's the second one here tonight, second fumble that he's had tonight. And luckily, both of those have been picked up by Casey Mears.
The ball in Matt Wilson's hands, out of Matt Wilson's hands. And now 2nd and a country mile. And they'll run a power I here with Mears bringing up the rear. And the pitch to Mears, who has a head of steam, out to the 35, call it the 36. And now 3rd and still very long, Eric.
Got as much as you possibly could on a play like that. 3rd and 12 now, though. Not a whole lot of plays in the playbook to go ahead and get you a conversion here.
Shotgun, hard count. Wilson, 4-man rush for Tennessee. Wilson under pressure again and manages to get the throw off, but that'll make it 4th and 7. I think it was Najee Anderson that caught that one. Najee Anderson, excuse me.
And timer went off, and Matt Wilson said he had to get rid of the football, was hoping that Anderson was going to make a play. Ended up being short.
Another punt inside the 5. No backspin on that ball. And Tennessee will take it out to the 20. How about a read, Eric?
I won.
Week 15 continues Saturday with a primetime game full of playoff implications. The 9-4 Dakota Rhinos travel to Portland to take on the Hungry Huskies at 7-6. Still alive to win the Northern Division with 3 games remaining. Action starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. The UFL lives on VFN. And you can see the whole block there for Saturday. A lot of great teams in action. A lot of great players on those teams. Still waiting to be claimed. Go to UFL, YOUFL.football to learn more about that. One such player, Malik Kane, is going to hand off here on 2nd and 4, and that's going to get blowed up in a hurry. Stephon Hurdle going forwards and backwards with equal measure. That is Lael Cornish on the stop.
Yeah, and Josh, much like we saw a week ago, it's looking like it might be one of those games where Rochester's defense is going to have to bow up and create some opportunities here to win this football game, because so far their offense has had no answers.
Rochester, 4th in rushing touchdowns allowed. They are stingy against the run. Kane's going to throw here on 3rd down, and that is an impressive throw and catch. Great numbers for Kane so far very early in this game, and that's Action Jackson moving the chains for the Ramblers.
Yeah, and Rochester pretty good in the passing attack as well on defense. They rank 3rd in the league in yards per game allowed, and right now just not a whole lot of room to operate for Rochester's defense here. And Tennessee just taking what they can get from them, and it's going to be one of those questions where if the Pioneers, like I said, on defense, can they create some opportunities for their offense?
And Rochester more than happy to keep the game in Malik Kane's hands. Hurdle up the middle with a nice gain on 1st down. Gets to the logo. Pass the 45, call it the 46. 2nd and 2.
And the type of game that we've seen thus far, Josh, we're going to see a very quick-paced game. We are already almost at the 2-minute warning here in the first half.
Let's see if Kane can get this play off. He does, up the middle again. And that'll be a 1st down, and that will get us to the 2-minute warning. The Ramblers in a tight one here in upstate New York. It's 3-0. You're watching UFL football on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Josh Zirkle. He's Eric Vincent. Cameron Irvine standing by. Malik Kane throwing out of the pocket. Complete over to the right side. Kane has only missed once so far tonight. An outstanding feat for a player who signed with this team a mere 4 hours ago to get him ready for action tonight. Now 2nd-5 Kane in the shotgun. 4-man rush. Throwing it again and again, complete. And they're not asking Malik Kane to do too much, but what he is doing tonight, Eric, he's doing very well as he's complete to Pappas Fields again.
Right out of my mouth, Josh. They're not asking him to do a whole heck of a lot. They're trying to keep the ball in the rushing attack's hands, but Kane has answered the bell whenever they're asked him to do something.
And another short drop, and he's going to run out to the 30. That breaks a tackle, getting to the 26. What an inspired run by the freshly minted Tennessee Rambler, Malik Kane.
Yeah, and that's yet another thing that we've seen Kane be able to do tonight. His first rushing attack here for 11 yards, and he's shaking off the middle linebacker Schlumbaum as he's toting the rock. I mean, man, what more can this guy do? He's been looking sharp here for the Ramblers.
Clock continues to run, 55 seconds remaining. Kane in the shotgun, play action. They pick up the blitz. Kane's going to run again, cutting inside to the 20, and will slide, but not call timeout. And the clock ticks down some more, 43 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that was a good call. Jordan Gordon was hot on his heels. Schlumbaum out there at the middle linebacker spot as well. Tennessee might have to call a timeout here soon, though.
Kane back in the shotgun. 5-man rush, caught. That's Stephon Hurdle. Hurdle to the 14, dragged down to the 16. Where do they spot it? Looks like it's going to be a first down either way, and then we finally have a timeout from Tennessee. Masterful job by Malik Kane on this drive.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. And that'll leave him with 28 seconds to work with inside the red zone here. I mean, Kane has put together a masterful drive, as you mentioned. Opportunity to get 6 on the board.
And the shot going to get thrown toward the end zone. That is caught for the touchdown. First career touchdown pass for Malik Kane. And it's Action Jackson.
Jackson, great job there with getting the touchdown. Only his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. Came in with over 700 receiving yards. And he was wide open there in the back of the end zone. Really nothing that the Rochester defense could do. Matt Wilson throws his hands up in frustration. He's got to get out there and see if he can put points on the board in 24 seconds.
He does have his hands up, but they're not playing his song, at least not yet, as his Rochester Pioneers now trail 10-0 here in the waning moments of the first half. And Eric and I were jumping the gun here a little bit, but your first impressions of the game so far?
Well, and it's a slow-moving game, and I think that's how both of these teams wanted to approach it. Tennessee with a newly signed quarterback wanting to keep the ball in the running back's hands, put the ball on the ground. Rochester, that's just how they play football in general. They're a knockdown, drag-out team that likes to run the football. So it's going to be a quick-paced game, not a whole lot of room for error. And right now, Rochester not making enough plays on offense. Tennessee doing everything they can in order to pull the upset.
And we did think this might be a slow-moving affair when we looked at those stats. Rochester 26th out of 32 teams, in total offense, total yardage on the offensive side. And Tennessee 28th. And now that man, Matt Wilson, certainly has his work cut out for him. You can see it's been a rough night for Wilson so far.
And he's got to take care of the football. I mean, we talked about it. He's had 2 fumbles. Both of them ended up in Casey Mears' hands. But got to take care of the football. You know, you are the quarterback. You are the captain of this offensive unit. You got to make some plays, and it starts right now.
And how aggressive will Wilson be with 18 seconds remaining in the half? Throwing over the middle, flag on the play. That pass complete to Dijon Swan. But that one's coming back, holding on the Pioneers.
And that certainly won't help matters any at all. Rochester might want to go ahead and just take this one into the half here.
Wilson in the shotgun. Will go play action. Trips to his left. All the time in the world. He's going to unleash the dragon down the field. Tipped, and that is falling incomplete. It looked like Swan had a real chance of pulling that one out. But credit to the Tennessee defense.
Colonel Mustard himself, Dijon Swan, I think he had a real opportunity at that one, Zirkle. Just couldn't quite reel it in.
And this will likely be the last play of the first half. Will Wilson try again? No, he's going to dump it off over the middle. And that will end the first half. Rochester leading the Metro Division, but not leading in this game. They've been shut out so far by an obnoxious Tennessee Rambler team, 10-0. Eric Vincent, your thoughts on the first half?
Right there, Josh. I mean, 150 total yards here for Tennessee, and that leads the game. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of offensive yardage from either of these teams. Only 72 total yards for Rochester. They haven't done anything with the football. And as I touched before we hit the halftime break, Matt Wilson is going to have to do better with the football. You know, if you're going to put the ball in his hands to go ahead and sling the rock around, he's got to make sure he's holding on to that ball, not throwing picks, not turning the ball over. Big time game coming up here in the second half.
Second half coming up right after League Brights. You're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network.
This presentation of the UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Welcome back to Rochester. Josh Thurgold with Eric Vincent. Cameron Irvine standing by. The Tennessee Ramblers leading 10-0. Fighting for their playoff lives. They will begin the second half with the football. And out of the end zone they come, down at the 25-yard line. And what a debut it has been for Tennessee Ramblers quarterback Malik Kane.
Yeah, he's been great. And, you know, we talked about it at his last possession there before they got the touchdown to make it a 10-0 game. They haven't asked him to do a whole lot, but what they have asked him to do, he has done very, very well. He runs the football well. He takes care of the football, and they've been taking care of business so far on the road.
Two tight end set. They run up the middle on first down. That is Stephon Hurdle. You see the number there on Hurdle. He's had a healthy amount of volume tonight and a nice run on first down. 2nd and 5. Very, very brisk first half. A lot of rushing, as both of these teams like to do. And they rush again here on second down, cutting upfield as Tennessee makes big, big progress in the first two plays of the game. That is Santoris Sherman this time moving the chains.
Yeah, and Sherman, you know, much like Everidge, his counterpart on Rochester, he's the spellback, and he does a nice job. He breaks off some good runs, as we see right there. Good blocking there for Sherman. And Tayumi has to come down from the free safety spot to try and make a play. Slows him down, thankfully, for Rochester. But big play once again here for the Ramblers to keep possession of the football.
And Tennessee has done a great job of getting yardage on the ground, certainly making Malik Kane's job a lot easier, though not happening there. Stephon Hurdle gets blowed up. He just got schlumbombed.
Yeah, Schlumbob, 5th tackle of the evening. Blowing him up in the backfield there, but you talked about it. I mean, Stephon Hurdle has had himself some good volume tonight, over 50 yards rushing on 15 carries. You know, that's good average right there if you're a running back.
And now 2nd and long, Kane under center. 3 tight ends to his left. Did I count that right? Kane will throw, and it's Hurdle, and Hurdle barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, and now 3rd and 11 for the Ramblers.
Yeah, Carlos Watson, good response there to go ahead and get out to the outside, make the one-on-one tackle there, forcing the 3rd and long. Big 3rd down here for the Pioneers.
Rochester trying to get off the field. Here comes the blitz, and that is blown up. Screen pass, nowhere to go. And Hurdle, once again on this drive, ends up in a heap. Outstanding play. There's about 4 or 5 Pioneers on the scene there.
Yeah, played to absolute perfection. If you're Rochester, able to find the back there, Edwards able to make the open field tackle in the backfield. Good pressure up front there, forcing Kane to get rid of the football early, and Rochester with its first stop of the second half.
Breon Edwards, 4th-year corner out of Colorado, and that is a mighty boot off of the leg of Corey Austin, but it's a little bit too good as that goes in the end zone for a touchback. How about another read, Eric?
Good one.
12 helmets down, 20 to go. Check out Green Gridiron Socials to see the unboxings of full-sized UFL helmet replicas. They make it real, and so do all of you. For more, visit greengridiron.com. Well, exactly like it sounds. Matt Wilson. Not that's 2 L's in there. Not counting the pending L tonight if they cannot find a way to get the offense going here against Tennessee.
Mike Dagg's not going to be happy with that one.
My apologies to everyone involved. And that is Everidge on the run on second down. And now 3rd and 8 pending for Rochester. First drive of the second half for the Pioneers. Trying to find that sweet special sauce to get the ball moving against these Ramblers. Just 72 total yards in the first half. Wilson throwing against the blitz, lobs it up there, Defoe, and it will be intercepted off the tip drill, and Tennessee comes up with the first turnover of the game. Rodney Walker.
That was impressive. I mean, we saw Walker coming in and get a sack on the corner blitz in the first half, and this one, a shoestring interception. I'm not sure how he came up with it here, and honestly, it's a throw that Matt Wilson had no business throwing.
We might get another look at this because that was like Franco Harris AFC title game against the Raiders close. And I don't know if we'll get a look at it here, but it looks like the defense is coming off the field. Tennessee offense coming back on. Perhaps we will not get a review of that play.
So no challenge flag, no review.
No challenge, no review. Starting at the 48, the best starting field position for either team. Kane against the blitz, finds his receiver out to the sideline. And you see the outstanding numbers for Malik Kane, 11 of 12 in his UFL debut tonight.
Polar opposites right now for both of these offenses. Tennessee, with all the consistency, you can tell what kind of game plan they're coming in with. Rochester, extremely inconsistent on offense tonight.
Kane, big throw over the middle, finds the seam in the zone. And that is complete to number 89, Darrington Coleman.
And we've seen it a couple different times here. Kane liking to work the middle of the field here. And we saw it right there, just a seam right up the middle. Schlumbaum, the middle linebacker, was the first man in coverage and just beats the zone with where the route was run. Great recognition there by Kane.
Ready, 18 Gator.
Kane marching his team down the field, trying to add to that 10-point lead. Lots of fakes, and up the middle he goes to the 20, to the 10, sliding down at the 9-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Ramblers.
And great recognition by Kane once again, able to tell that the Pioneers were coming out in man coverage. There really wasn't anywhere for him to go with the football. He just takes off and runs. He sees the opening in the middle of the line. Great blocking up front by the Ramblers offensive line, and he's able to move it into the red zone.
Ramblers over 100 yards rushing on the ground against the second-ranked Rochester defense. Up the middle this time. Touchdown! Santora Sherman.
Sherman with his 7th rushing touchdown of the year, and this one a very good one. Great blocking up front. Really, no one was I think his offensive lineman was the only one that touched him on his way to the end zone. Masterful blocking up front there for the Ramblers offensive line, and Tennessee extends their lead on the road.
16-0 for the Ramblers, fighting for their playoff lives. Needing a win tonight. Rochester, meanwhile, clinging to the slimmest of leads in the Metro Division. The extra point is good, and Tennessee takes a 17-0 lead. For UFL schedule, standings, stats, rankings, and more, visit the league website at UFL, YOUFL.football, and claim your player today. You can help your favorite team succeed just by being a fan and declaring your fandom as well. UFL Football, YOUFL.football. The official home of everything UFL, which is a great place to be the official home. If you ask me, but nobody did. Rochester will take this at the 2, out to the 25, and down at the 26. And the boys in red behind the 8 ball here. Matt Wilson Does not throw a lot of interceptions. That was just the 4th interception this season. But he has taken a beating tonight, not only on the stat sheet, but literally.
And Josh, because they're behind the 8 ball here, Rochester throws the 3rd fewest passes in the league. So being down 3 possessions and not a whole lot of time to operate with, you're going to see a lot of that.
Casey Mears stymied behind the line. Great stop by Oliver Delaney out of Miami. And now 2nd and long.
The problem with the Pioneers offense is that once you get in these situations where you're down 2-3 scores, you're starting to kind of sense that the game is getting away from you. You really have no identity to go ahead and push the football down the field. Your identity is just run to the football in the trenches, and Tennessee is going to sniff that out.
In what has been an extremely fast-moving game as we're approaching the halfway point of the 3rd quarter. And now 3rd and 12, and Rochester watching the scoreboard and watching all that time tick away. Now less than 6 minutes remaining. Wilson in the shotgun. 4-man rush, throwing over the middle and not clear on who that ball was intended for. A disappointing series, and that look says it all on the face and posture of Matt Wilson.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to find the tight end, Evan Wood. It was just a little bit too far out in front of him. And that can happen here when you're playing against a defense who's having a great night like Tennessee is right now.
And certainly the pressure having a cumulative effect. And no fair catch by Tennessee that time. They'll get this out to the 37. And again, the Ramblers starting a series with outstanding field position for their upstart quarterback, Malik Kane.
Yeah, and much like we talked about in the first half where we kind of sensed where this football game was going, Rochester's defense is going to have to create some opportunities, either score some points or get a takeaway to get the offense their football.
Kane will hand it off up the middle. It's Hurdle. You see the numbers there on Hurdle's 2nd down. Please like, comment, subscribe on this video to help the UFL reach more people as we round the back 9 of the regular season. That is a golf reference, by the way. The race for the playoffs is about to heat up. We want everyone to see what we're building. Thank you for your support of the UFL. And Malik Kane thanks his receiver for advancing into plus territory. An outstanding drive once again from Malik Kane.
Yeah, Kane has just been absolutely masterful. I mean, he is just finding his receivers wherever they may be. You know, that one just an easy pitch and catch, you know, about 3-yard hitch route, coming back towards the football, able to get a couple of yards after the catch. That's all Tennessee needs at this point, being up 3 scores.
And Malik Kane looks like he's been on this team for a lot longer than 4 hours. You see the passing comparison there, 95 passing yards for Tennessee, just 27 for the Pioneers. Kane, 3-step drop to the right side, caught, complete, and down at the 45, 2nd down.
In Tennessee, they don't throw the football a lot either. They throw the 2nd fewest passes in the league as well. But the difference here tonight is that they're putting plays for Malik Kane to go ahead and just pitch and catch to his receivers. They're not deep shots. They're not flashy plays. They just move the football.
A flag on the play there.
Delay of game, offense.
And maybe the first sign of inexperience from Malik Kane as he incurs a delay game penalty. That'll back him up 5 yards.
One of the few mistakes we've seen him make tonight. And he is not pleased with himself, but offensive lineman trying to console him, get his head right, get him back in the game. 2nd and 11.
And now a 3-wide set. 6 DBs on the field for the Pioneers. Up the middle, they go to Hurdle. Hurdle closing in on 20 carries, but also 100 yards as well. Schlumbaum on the tackle.
Now 3rd and 5 here. Rochester got to get them off the field.
Kane in the shotgun in a 2-back set. 4-man rush over the middle. Kane again had his man, but overthrows him. And you got to think that he had a shot at a touchdown there. Kane kicking himself once again.
The Pioneers are very, very lucky that Kane was able to miss his man here, because there is absolutely nobody there. And that's what's been happening with Tennessee. They've been running these routes perfectly to combat this zone defense that the Pioneers have been pumping out. That's one of the few mishaps we've seen Kane throw here tonight, and Rochester going to be the beneficiary of it.
Max Capone, the intended receiver. We've not called Max's name much tonight, and we could have shouted it from the rooftops there, but to no avail. And an outstanding special teams play from the Tennessee Ramblers, and Corey Austin is about to lay an egg.
And it's
Down
all
at
about
two.
it's all about where you touch the football in this league, Josh. Obviously, the return man, or excuse me, the gunner, his momentum carried him into the end zone, but he touched the football at the 2-yard line, and that's where Rochester is going to take over.
I think I was Jerome Fields, the backup free safety. And now Casey Mears will barely get back to the line of scrimmage, fighting out of the shadow of their own goalpost is Rochester, late in the third.
Just a lot of run, pass, Josh. Run, pass. We've seen it a lot.
And a short drop, and that ball is knocked down. Matt Wilson just cannot buy a break in this game as that pass batted down to the line of scrimmage, and now 3rd and 10.
70, Indy.
Mears.
It's out.
Drive it into the end zone. They're going to spot her at the 1. They're giving Mears forward progress, but a TFL all the same for Joey Duncan, the 2nd.
And just to show how Tennessee's defense has played tonight, that is a total of -2 yards that the Pioneers have had in this third quarter of play. I don't know if that's just Tennessee's defensive prowess or Rochester's ineptitude on offense, but either way, you pair those together and it's it's a sandwich of some variety.
Not the best look. And now Drake O'Leary is going to have to scoot up to make sure he can get this punt away. Tennessee had the block on, but to no avail. Again, no fair catch for the Tennessee special teams. That was Action Jackson definitely looking for action as he gets the ball to midfield. Best starting field position for the Ramblers tonight. Malik Kane, what a game you're having, young man.
Only 2 incompletions, and we've seen a few different quarterbacks with impressive completion ratings here this season.
Absolutely insane. Hurdle to the right side. Sidestepping defenders. Carry number 18 of the night. Good for 7 yards. 2nd down.
Yeah, we've seen 3 different quarterbacks this season where they've had a game completing 95% of their passes or more. Joe Francis of Florida, Jay Carter of Salt Lake, and Doug Falk in Minnesota. Kane right up there with them. Not quite at 95%, though.
Hurdle is going to move the chains for the 1st down. And the interesting thing about Malik Kane's game here is that, yes, he is running very basic West Coast, very short routes, but he is in sync with these guys. I mean, we only had that one pass to Max Capone that really looked like it was off sync at all. Hurdle on the counter. And carry number 20 is going to go for a loss, 2nd down.
Point, Josh. I mean, we've talked about it a couple different times. You know, Kane has just answered the bell completely. You know, they're not asking him to do a whole lot. Not a whole lot of flashy plays tonight. Just, hey, you know, put the ball in the belly of the running back. You'll throw the ball a couple times. It'll be a bunch of safe routes. Just get the ball to your receiver, and if nothing's open, go ahead and take off and run. You've got that talent as well.
2-back set on 2nd down. This will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Stop behind the line. It's Santori Sherman. May I see some 4s in chat, please? Tennessee fighting to reach 500. Rochester fighting to stay atop their division. You're watching the UFL on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Josh Circle. That's Eric Vincent. These 2 teams duking it out. And that tells a story right there. Not a lot of offense out of Rochester. 0 yards in the 3rd quarter for the boys in red. And now Malik Kane, who joined the team just earlier today, looking to get Tennessee to a 500 record and perhaps a wild card berth in the playoffs when the regular season ends in 2 weeks. And that is a 15th completion of the night, and Max Capone has his second catch. Welcome to the score sheet, Max Capone.
And that's a good start there for the Pioneers defense. Able to get them off the field, force the field goal attempt. But man, they're going to have to come out with one hell of a fourth quarter if they're going to get themselves back in this ball game.
And the drive will stall out from 50 yards on the right hash. Brody Speak will try to make this a 20-point lead, and does. Everything coming up, Ramblers, tonight, as the Tennessee Ramblers lead Rochester 20-0. Once again, for UFL schedule, standing stats, rankings, and more, visit the league website at youfl.football. Claim your player today. Join the league. Plenty of action left here in the regular season, not to mention the playoffs. Every team benefits from every new player that they add. We've seen it happen. We've seen massive fluctuations over the course of the season. We saw Tennessee hand Cincinnati their first loss of the season. Who will be the next giant knocked off in UFL action? Rochester
Tennessee
looking like the prime candidate right now.
Absolutely. And Tennessee, I was going to say, getting hot at the right time. They won 4 of their last 5 games. A couple of them close games, but with the exception of a bit of a head scratcher against Houston on the road, they played well against good teams, and including St. Louis, who got upset tonight by Motor City.
And Mears will get blown up in the backfield. And that is Belton. Marquand Belton out of Arizona State. He's a large lad, as you might expect, 6'3", 252. And Rochester will go no huddle. Wilson's going to run. And he's going to slide. I think that was a slide, or the sniper in the upper deck got him. Hard to tell from this vantage point. It'll be 3rd and 12.
That was a bit of a puzzling slide there by Wilson to go ahead and just give up a couple yards past the line of scrimmage. Now 3rd and forever.
I was waiting for Jackie Kennedy to run across the sideline. That pass from Wilson complete. And that is Mears, who's going to make it close but no cigar. It'll be 4th and 2.
Now decision time here. I mean, you're down 3 possessions.
I know what I would like to see them do.
I'd love to see him go for it. But they've been wildly inconsistent here tonight, Josh. It's been a lot of run, one, pass, and not a whole lot of success offensively.
Set, ready, 60 or.
And they will go for it on 4th and 2. Matt Wilson under center in a 2-back set. Just over 10 minutes to play here in regulation. They hand it off to Mears. And Mears is going to get, that is going to be close.
Nah, they didn't get it.
They're going to say short, and Tennessee will take over on downs. Casey Mears stymied at the line. Needed 2 yards and maybe got 1.
And Tennessee has done extremely well tonight against this rushing attack for Rochester, which, as we mentioned, is their bread and butter offensively. They just have not gotten anything going on the ground, and Tennessee, the beneficiaries of it, posting up a goose egg on the Pioneers right now.
And they will start this drive essentially in field goal range from the Rochester 35. Up the middle. Santora Sherman. I apologize to Santora Sherman. That just throws me for a loop. Santora Sherman wearing 37 for Tennessee. And Ronnie Everidge wearing 27 for Rochester. And it's all I could do to keep those two straight. And what a night it's been for Sherman. Getting 6 yards a pop. And that would be in the fullback spot.
Fantastic.
And now Sherman in the fullback spot for Hurdle. And Hurdle, or no, that's Sherman again. Excuse me. Plowing through the line. Sherman with a TD on the night. Sherman and Action Jackson. The only 2 breaches of the end zone for the Ramblers. And now Kane again. Against the rush. That is caught. And there is Action Jackson once again. And they're going to spot him short. Kind of some surprise there. 3rd and inches.
Yeah, and I thought he got the first down there, but it's not really going to matter a whole heck of a lot. Tennessee firmly in control of this football game, running the clock.
Kane in the shotgun on 3rd and inches. This is interesting. And they run the draw. And Hurdle's going to get it inside the 10. A little a dangerous play call, even if it is 20-0. And outstanding blocking for Stephon Hurdle. It's 1st and goal.
140 yards collectively between these two running backs tonight. Rochester's defense having just as many problems as their offense tonight. Just an absolute debacle here at home against a playoff hopeful team. Backs against the wall with Motor City getting that upset in game night. They need to win this game. Goose egg.
Hurdle stopped in the backfield. We've been talking about how Malik Kane has done such a nice job adjusting to his offensive teammates. Rochester, conversely, has an extremely difficult job preparing for a quarterback that they've never seen. They have no concept of his nuances or tendencies, and what he likes to do, and also what the team, being Tennessee, likes to do with him under center. Very difficult job for Rochester tonight. 2nd and goal, up the middle, it's Hurdle to the touchdown. 3rd touchdown of the night for Tennessee, and it's all Ramblers here in upstate New York.
Rushing touchdown of the season, and that one was easy. I mean, just absolutely nothing up the middle of the field there, parting the Red Sea, if you will, and Tennessee just pouring it on.
I will. The extra point is good, and the Ramblers lead 27-0. Go to greengridiron.com and check out the full-sized UFL helmets for display and for purchase, adding another level of immersion to the UFL experience. And there are more coming out. Get yourself in a loop. Go to greengridiron.com. Do you have a player of the game so far? Eric, give me a player of the game. Give me like 2 or 3. I don't want to pin you down on one guy so far.
I mean, look, the backfield for Tennessee has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, we've talked about Malik Kane, obviously, and he's done a fantastic job given the circumstances of just flying in here about 4 hours before kickoff in order to go ahead and play a playoff caliber game. But Stephon Hurdle and Centaurus Sherman, they both played extremely well. I touched on it, over 140 yards collectively between the two backs against this Rochester team. And yeah, just great game from them.
Matt Wilson is going to try and get something on the scoreboard. That's going to be intercepted. Picked off and barely getting the toe touch in is Rodney Walker. 2nd pick of the night for Walker.
Let's go ahead and throw Rodney Walker into the mix. I mean, he's got a sack. He's now got 2 picks. This one just an absolutely bonkers pick. Able to locate the football, turning his head back, seeing it was going to Evan Wood, and then getting the toes down on top of it. I mean, that's an impressive pick right there. And that's been the difference. Tennessee has just been making plays tonight. Rochester has done absolutely nothing, 0 zilch across the board tonight.
This is the 2nd straight drive. Tennessee will start in Rochester territory. Hurdle up the middle. And that's going to be close to the 1st down if he doesn't have it. Eclipsing the 100-yard mark for Stephon Hurdle, 2nd and inches.
And if you're Rochester, this is a game that you are just going to flush as deep down the toilet as humanly possible, because this should not reflect who you are as a playoff team.
Kane throwing toward the sideline. It's Jackson. No, excuse me. That's number 89. Darrington Coleman, the tight end. And that will move the chains for Tennessee. 6 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Kane again to Hurdle. Hurdle with the lane to the 10, down to the 5, and then to the 3. Stephon Hurdle with his best run of the night.
Yeah, he's averaging over 5 yards a clip as well. And again, great blocking there. A huge gaping hole off tackle for Hurdle to run through. And just a great job here. The offensive line for Tennessee has been awesome. The two running backs, both Hurdle and Sherman, have been spectacular. Malik Kane has managed the game extremely well in a hostile environment on the road with your playoff lives on the line. Fantastic game from the Ramblers.
Kane will throw. Dangerous throw there. And still somehow complete. That's Fields again. 7 catches tonight for Pappas Fields. He's been a busy bee.
Popular target.
Down. Malik Kane making his own heroes here. The pitch. Touchdown. Tennessee finding the end zone again. And again, it's Stephon Hurdle, his second score of the night.
Yeah, and that one was great. Great blocking by the wide receiver, able to just pancake the corner, and Hurdle, just plenty of room to operate there.
Great look from the catwalk cam. And you can see the frustration there. Dijon Swan. Frustration palpable. These are competitive folks. The extra point from Speak is good. And the route is on 34-0. Tennessee playing the game of their lives right now. And Rochester not the only ones shaking their heads here tonight. I am astounded and baffled, but at the same time, really enjoying the top to bottom performance of this Tennessee Ramblers team on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely, and there's only been one other shutout that we've seen, and I was actually on the call for this one early on in this inaugural season. LA blanking Vegas on the road 41-0. So if this score holds, it'll only be our second shutout we've ever seen in league history.
Which would be remarkable in and of itself. But Tennessee, we talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. They needed a win to keep pace with Motor City, who, of course, did the business to St. Louis earlier in this game. Rochester moves out to the 23. And so they do so. They're both at 7-7 now. Here's a bit of a look at it. You see the Mustangs there in the 8th seed. The Pioneers, they're going to, if this result holds, they're going to fall back to 8-6, and they will be in a tie with New York. Out to the right side. And the interesting thing about that, as we look at Rochester's remaining schedule, both of their remaining games will happen in the Empire State. They have a home game against Cleveland, who is currently 4th in their division. And if results match with New York, they will face off for basic in a de facto Metro Division title game when they play the New York Lightning in the last game of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, these last two upcoming games here for Rochester are going to be huge. And, you may be sitting there thinking in 3 seed, like, oh, okay, well, it's they're sitting pretty. They're in the 3 seed. They got nothing to work now. New York is still holding on. Rochester going to hold a slim lead on the division just by a tiebreaker. But again, if their results hold next week, then it's going to be a showdown in New York City to decide the division and who goes on to the playoffs.
And while we're talking playoffs here, Tennessee just challenged a Rochester catch on the field, which might be the dirtiest of pool. And here comes the ruling now. And obviously going in Rochester's favor.
Yeah, one of the few big plays that we've seen from Rochester tonight. And, of course, Tennessee going to throw the red hanky and see if they can get it wiped off the board.
They're going to try and scrub it out. That's just, you got to play the whole game here. And Wilson trying to get the screen pass and running for his life and not coming up with that. Tennessee, 2 games left on their docket, and they're both against teams that currently have winning records. Milwaukee, who is leading the Great Lakes division right now at 7-6. And then they go to Dallas for a difficult regular season finale. So the Ramblers' playoff journey, not exactly paved with gold. It may not even be paved at all here.
No, but step one completed here. You know, you go ahead and you go on the road against a tough playoff caliber team like Rochester. You get the win. You keep yourselves in the playoff picture despite, you know, what Motor City did with St. Louis earlier in the evening. And then you go ahead, step two is go ahead and take care of business at home next week against Milwaukee, who's also another division leader.
And Matt Wilson fighting like mad to get the shit out. It's picked off. Flag on the play. We'll see if it stands. But Tennessee coming up with a stop. It's Joey Duncan, and that's going to come back. Pass interference. Joey Duncan, the second. Flag for PI, and the march continues. Automatic first down for Rochester. Trying to find some points here with 3.5 to play.
On the ball.
Mears
Tell
blowing
you
up
what,
to the back.
Josh.
Tell me what.
I was about to say, I tell you what, Casey Mears has just been not herself tonight. You know, she has gotten absolutely nothing going out of the backfield tonight for the Pioneers.
Wilson in the shotgun, and Wilson's going to run to the 20, turning upfield 15 and sliding down at the 14-yard line. And now a massive third down. You got to think they're going to kick it regardless, just to get that goose egg off the scoreboard.
54, right there, 54.
Wilson in the shotgun on 3rd and 7. 4-man rush. Has time. And there he goes to the 15, to the 10. Has the first down to the 5 and down at the 2. Well, actually gets shoved out of bounds at the 3 as he was wrapped up by a pair of Rambler defenders. 1st and goal.
And I'm with you. Rochester looking to make sure that they get that goose egg off the board. They are fighting like mad to go ahead and get some garbage time points here.
50, plant. Check, watch 54, watch 54.
And now 1st and goal. And they're getting heavy. Everidge in the backfield. Blown up! Tennessee is not done playing football. That's Dexter Jackson, D. Jacks with the stop behind the line.
On the ball, come on. Check, get it.
No huddle on 2nd down. 4-man rush. Wilson will tuck it again to the 10 and stopped at the 7. I think that was Darkeys Simmons out of Savannah State making the stop. His 2nd tackle tonight.
Yeah, I think Matt Wilson was anticipating he was going to be able to cut it back inside, but Simmons surprised him.
The snap before the 2-minute warning. Wilson throw it to the end zone, and that is in and out of the hands of the receiver, and another flag on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield. That is a no-no. Oh, and that will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, they actually called it illegal touching. It was the tackle, I believe, that lined up at slot receiver.
Whoops. But now they will kick the field goal. The proverbial chip shot from 22 yards, and Rochester, with 1 minute 51 remaining in regulation, finds their first points of the game. It's 34-3.
Being down by more than 16 under 2 minutes, Rochester going to go ahead and elect to kick it deep. Tennessee not going to take knees because Rochester will still have all 3 of those timeouts. So a little bit of gamesmanship between those 2 teams. But obviously the Ramblers with this game firmly in hand. Really no question who's going to come out with victory tonight.
We hope you're looking forward to more UFL football. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this and all of the UFL broadcasts as we are hurtling toward the postseason with just 2 weeks of regular season football remaining. We'd love to have you on board. You can see the slate coming up this weekend, Saturday, August 9th. The fun starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. We got football, we got bingo. You bring your own beer. I mean, what more do you want in life?
Exactly. I mean, that sounds like a great night off to me. Great Saturday night.
Here. Malik Kane, as impressive a debut as one could hope to make in the UFL, is now going to tuck it and go. has a first down out to the 50, and we would like to see Malik Kane make it to next week if he could not get himself murdered on the last drive of this game, as he approaches 50 yards rushing on the game and over 350 yards of total offense for the Ramblers, and that is a 99 secure ball rating if I've ever seen one.
Protecting that football for sure. He doesn't want to give it up at this point. It doesn't matter if they're up by 3 points or 33 points.
So if I had to choose a player of the game, you got to go with either Malik Kane, who has been outstanding, and if I remember correctly, still only 2 incompletions on the evening. Stephon Hurdle III, with he had the 2 touchdowns. Or Rodney Walker, he of the 2 interceptions, although both of those in the second half. Very difficult choice, but I'm leaning toward number 1 right there, who is not done throwing yet, and not done getting brutalized either on his 5th rush of the game. Schlumbaum on the stop. And as time winds down, Eric, once again, let me just say it, what a privilege it is to call a game with you. There's so much fun getting in the booth together. I'm glad you got it. Glad you were here for it.
Absolutely, man. I was glad to come out here to good old Rochester, New York, and see a clash between 2 playoff hopeful teams. And well, there's your player of the game right there. Rodney Walker had himself a sack, 2 picks, both of those picks being pivotal to shift the momentum of this game. And now Rochester going to have to go back to the drawing board, getting their 2nd loss in 3 weeks. They're going to have to make sure that they tune some things up with only 2 games left before the playoffs. And for Tennessee, like I said, it's 1 step at a time, Josh. Step 1's completed. Step 2, going to go back home to the great state of Tennessee, take care of Milwaukee at home, and see if they can go ahead and make the playoffs in the penultimate week. But great pleasure calling this game with you as always, and great effort here with the UFL in primetime.
Congratulations to the Tennessee Ramblers. Your final score out of Rochester, Ramblers 34, Pioneers 3. For Cameron Irvine, Eric Vinson, I'm Josh Circle. Good night.